One. All right, let's get going. Welcome to a brave new world of 10-week terms. So today we're going to try and give you some ideas about what to do to make your course work in this new regime. And it's not just going from 12 weeks to 10 weeks, as I keep pointing out. We did have a mid-semester break, which we now lost, and we had week 13 that was effectively usable. That's also pretty much gone. So it used to be really 14 weeks, and now it's a hard 10. So
what about this week 11 carryover?
Yeah, you can try doing stuff there, but in term 2, that week is 2 days of carryover, 1 day of stew back, and then exam stuff. So you wouldn't want to be doing too much. In term 1, the exams start on the Monday of week 12.
And the finals have to be marked within 4 days, right?
Depends when your exam is. If your exam is right at the end, yeah, probably.
Very good.
Yeah.
700 students is a piece of...
700? Have you checked lately? I think it might be 800. You can, I'll tell you what you should do. You should be trying to encourage some to do 3/8.
I do.
Oh, how? To try it in the first lecture.
Fine print question.
Yep.
When's the last day of the semester an accessible item can be due?
Possibly. Good question. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be aiming for week 10. Probably can get away with week 11.
Monday 6 a.m. week.
For example. Yeah, that'd be fine. All right, so let's take a look at how things worked last year. So there was a bit of setup to do before the semester. You do a course outline, you set up the website on whatever platform you happen to use. And then 12 out of 13 weeks plus the midterm break is when things run and you do all the usual stuff, hopefully. And then there's a clean-up period afterwards, which I think I might have exaggerated on the next slide, where it's almost essential that you try and, especially if you're doing a first-year course where you've got lots of labs and stuff, and you've got to make sure that the tutors get all the marks in. Sorting out all those marks before the exam, something the students expect and is worthwhile anyway. And then all you got to do is mark the exam and finalise. But then, of course, you get requests that, my assignment 1, I deserve 3 more marks, take a look, blah, blah, blah. So cleaning up all that stuff happens after that as well. So that's what we currently do. So there's a fairly long span for that. This is now what we've got. So really, I think you ought to set everything up before O week, which means get the course outline done, get the course website done, and basically that means next week. Yeah, next week is the week before O week. The week after that is O week, and the week after that, term 1 starts. Ho, ho, ho. All right, so course outline website, same as before. I'll say something very quick about that later. Some kind of welcome message. I would suggest a lot of the time we've been using the first lecture to say, hello, welcome to the course, blah, blah, blah. It might be worthwhile putting that into a video and sticking that up on the course website rather than spending that hour or whatever in the first lecture talking about it. I don't know how many people spend the first hour. Yeah. Oh, only Oliver. Good. Yeah, I'm sure most people do. So if you can put that somewhere. And the other thing that's really critical, and Stephen's going to talk more about that in the next hour, Stephen Parker, by the way, faculty educational designer
Yeah.
for a little bit longer
That's right.
before he runs away. Setting up for students to be able to do stuff in week one. Straight away, before the lecture, it's if you want to have 10 tutes, 10 labs, whatever, which is probably something similar to what you had before, you're not going to lose too much. You really got to start in week one. If you think there's absolutely nothing they can do in week one, then I reckon one thing you could do, just have the tutor and get the tutor to meet the students and get them to review what you expect them to know already. Which, you can have set some tute questions related to stuff they've already done. But otherwise, if you reckon you can set up a proper tute based on the week one material, which you'll put up on the website, do that. And then you've got a hard 10 weeks to do all this stuff, which means marking has to be done really fast. Oh, yes, and I did get it right. So you've got a much shorter time span to clean up the course afterwards. So it's going to be really essential to get that stuff done. It's better if you do it during the term anyway. Students expect marks to be done quickly. Mark the exam, be like Alex, go to multiple choice. Or are you joking? Yeah.
All the jokes became true around.
Yeah, I know. So there you go. If you want to mark your exam quickly, do it in the lab, multiple choice, marked instantly.
We're still at the mercy of tutors marking stuff for those of us who
Yeah.
do that. That's historically been a nightmare with a 2-week deadline.
For assignments.
So
Yeah.
you got some 7 days leeway for submissions.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 weeks after something is due,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
really lucky to get it back.
Correct.
So all I can see us doing is just, really harsh on deadlines, and then you might get down to 2 weeks.
Yep. Harsh on the tutors as well.
Yeah.
Whip them. I guess tutors going to be slightly annoyed because they've lost 2 weeks of tutes. And if you don't have a tute in week one, they've lost 3 weeks of tutes, so they'll be even more annoyed. But anyway. All right, so here's a timeline just to graphically illustrate how horrible it is. So you can see this is quite a bit shorter than that. So there's not as much time for catch-up stuff. That happens right there. Exams start very soon. The reason I put this in grey, in term 1 exams don't start in week 11, they start right at the start of week 12. But you got two or 3 days catch up at the start of week 11, and then a joke of a stewback, and then exam. In term 2, it's even worse. You got exams starting on the Friday of week 11. So anyway, keep that in mind. All right, so what do you got to do to set up? Hopefully you all know this. But one thing that happens every year, don't send mail to CSG saying, I've got this course admin or a guest lecturer who needs access to the course website. Tell us now so that Andrew can tell you, no, we can't afford it. Do it yourself. So anyway, send mail to me and Andrew, and we'll add this person to teaching allocation files. They need to, if they do want access to the class account, they have to make an SSH key, and then once we add them to the teaching allocation files, they automatically get access to the class account. Sorting out casuals. This has also been something that we sort of are a bit lax about, and we sort of work it out by the end of week 1. Now, since tutes start in week 1, we need to work it out by the end of a week. So we really need to make sure that everyone selects their tutors now, because there's always horse trading between one course or another. Hey, I want this tutor. No, they want this other course wants that tutor. Work it out. So, and that takes some time.
When they apply,
Yeah.
where do you see the application?
You should have got mail from Andrew.
That link there.
Yeah, that. Oh, yeah, good. Well done. Yeah, there you go. So that's there's file under. So that's a file name. So like comp 1511 or send 2021 or whatever. There'll be a file there, which hopefully has been populated a little bit with people who. No, there's another place you look for people who've applied. Can you run?
That's a web page.
Yeah. There's a web page with all the applications on.
Andrew should send us.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you go back over previous years,
Yeah. I'll find out and I'll send email because we need to get onto this. In the past, we've been a little bit. Yeah, it's all right. Do it by week one.
That's where you actually put your nominations.
Yeah. So in the.
That was the actual list.
That's the nomination. I'm talking about applications.
Oh, yeah. But I think if you click on the link that's embedded link for each person that applies, then it goes to the application, I think.
It's going, yeah. I think it does, yeah. So it gives you all the information about what courses they study, gives you a transcript, gives you information about what courses they previously tutored. We don't have a rating system yet, but Mei Ting knows all about most of the tutors. That file is where you have to fill in stuff to indicate that this tutor is going to tutor your course. So you can do that, and then someone else is going to do it for the same tutor, and we have to resolve that. So we don't really have a nice way of handling contention for tutors. And yeah, this really has got to be sorted out by the end of our week. And the reason it has to be sorted out by the end of our week, we have to know who the tutors are, because we have a tutor training on the Friday of our week. All right, setting up. Basically, you should know all this stuff. The only thing that you really need to take account, make sure the week one material is on the website in a week so that students can start looking at it if they're here, if they've enrolled, and they can be ready to hit the ground running, as they say, in week one. So in the past, there's sort of been a gradual ramp up of getting students into the course. We can't afford that anymore.
That link is basically that previous thing with selections replaced with summary.
Going back here. Right, so if you do, without web,
make that a URL.
http://teachadmin casual academics 19T1.
Summary, comp, whatever, gets the page.
All right. With .html. Yeah, cool. Got that?
Are you going to do it today?
Yeah, I'll check what's going on and I'll send an email so you can all go and look. Course outline, what goes in the course outline, important in this context is getting the schedule. Hopefully, you've all got a schedule because you all filled out your UNSW 3+ course readiness forms last year, and they all had a schedule in them, didn't they? Which you thought hard about.
Can we get it back?
Huh?
Can we get it back?
Oh yeah, there I've got them all online. Yeah.
It was aspirational, wasn't it?
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll in the mail I sent it this afternoon. I'll stick that link as well. But somewhere under cheat admin. Blah blah blah. Yeah, all the usual fluff. I don't know why we actually have to put that in the document. We can just put links to all the standard stuff. I don't think we don't do anything special as far as plagiarism goes. So we're just following the uni practices. And Michael Tilsher is the bunny who gets to deal with 150 plagiarism cases from Comp 1511, things like that.
In 1 week, probably.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, And if you do have 100 plagiarism cases, that's going to take a long while to resolve. So that's something else that has to be done in the short time frame. So here's my suggestion for what to stick in a course welcome, whether it's a video or whether it's just a notice on the website. Try and set some context for the course. What do you expect students to know coming in, and what are they going to get out of it, and what's it going to lead to, and point them at the material for week 1 and the course outline, which they won't read, of course, but hey, that's a reason for putting stuff in here. If you make it short enough, TLDR, they might read it. And as I said, if you can make a short video, do it. Stick it on YouTube. And you can put stuff on YouTube and make it not accessible except via a URL that you supply. So it's not for the public necessarily. Class account, I think we all know this stuff. The website. Remember that all CSE courses have a website which has this kind of top level URL, SE for software engineering, BI for BIN, EN for the Eng courses, and GS for GSOE, and then the number. Make sure that you set that up properly. Do a redirection generally. Redirect to Moodle if you're using Moodle, redirect to WebCMS if you're using WebCMS. And I reckon it's essential that you put stuff in a subdirectory of that tagged with the term, so that people don't get confused about which version. So CS 1511/19T1/ and then all of the material for 19T1 under that, and you can make that a link to whatever website, whatever web system you're using, and maybe it's just going down to that directory. Blah, 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 blah. Anything interesting if you're using WebCMS? A lot of this stuff gets filled out automatically. You can get a course outline template, and you can set up various activities on the website. What are the options? WebCMS 2. WebCMS 3. Don't use WebCMS 2. I'm not going to maintain it anymore, and it looks like something from the Stone Age in any case. Yeah. Well, it's technology, things change.
Speaking of the Stone Age,
Yeah.
are you going to resurrect the survey system?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
The survey.
Yeah, this semester I'm not teaching, so I've got time to do stuff like that. We had a local survey system.
You could do surveys of students.
Resurrect a better one. That was a bit crappy.
Job done.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let you know when it's ready. It's kind of useful. I mean, you can ask questions. If you're using WebCMS 3, that's got a polling system. It's not a survey system per se. I actually did a survey by having a page that had links to a whole bunch of different polls. So it's kind of one poll per survey question. You can use Moodle if you want. Who's going to use Moodle? Huh.
I'm forced to.
Yeah, and Stephen will tell you in the second hour how to quickly deal with your required usage of Moodle.
We hope to get that sorted out this morning.
You can use Ed. Ask Eric how great Ed is. Is it great? No. Only not bad, but it costs the school money. And of course, we have budget problems.
2% of student fees, so yeah.
Quite right. Yeah, if we got anywhere near the amount of money we should be getting from students, we could easily afford stuff like that. You can use Open Learning as well. I don't know, I don't like it. It's better than Moodle, but not much. Or you can roll your own, like Kevin does. Do you not?
Someone rolled it for me about 15 years ago.
Right. If you don't like the way WebCMS handles forums, you can easily take out the forums link from the WebCMS sidebar menu and link to something else. Oh yeah, all right. So I said this before. That's probably where you should put all the content. And what I've noticed that a lot of people are uploading stuff into WebCMS3. That's fine, but it's filling up the file system where WebCMS lives. But if WebCMS breaks, extremely unlikely, but if it does, having all the material here and having some simple link to that material is kind of useful. Yeah.
Are we sticking with capital T as opposed to lowercase s?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So not lowercase t.
No. Just, I don't know why I did that. And so summer's T0, but we're not going to ever run summer courses ever again, if I can avoid it. T1, T2, T3. What else? Oh yeah, if you're doing programming assignments, make sure that you have a solution already, which will help you set up auto testing. And I think students really like having auto testing, and especially if you're running a course that doesn't have tutes or labs, giving them something where they can, and you're setting assignments for them, giving something where they can check it. I've seen feedback on some of the My Experience forums where they say that's one of the best things that the course did, was to set up auto testing. So, I mean, you can argue that, it's a bit crappy they work towards the test cases and don't think about it that much, but that will also cut down a bit of your work as well, because they're not going to bombard you with questions clarifying edge cases on the spec. If you have enough cases in the auto testing, they'll be able to work out answers to those questions without asking you. Set up marking real fast, get the tutors working quickly on assignments. Right, so SMS is useful for keeping all the final marks, and it's way better than using a goddamn spreadsheet which you keep on your laptop, because at some point we end up having to sort out stuff from previous semesters, and for remission we need to know what people submitted when, and if all the information is just in Excel, that's painful because we don't have access to it. If it's in an SMS database, then we do have access to it, so we can just go and check. And you don't have to answer all the fee remission stuff. Anyway, there is documentation for SMS. There's a new system coming called Astra, if you haven't heard about it. Jeff Wales involved in the development, so hopefully it will be slightly more sensible than your average UNSW software system. It's basically going to take, if you remember, there's some stupid restriction that you can only have 4 assessment items in a course. It's going, and they go into aims when you propose the course. Astra's going to automatically grab them and stick them in the site for your course. Nice thing about Astra is it's a central repository, but it's going to make it easy for people like me to go and check rather than having to trawl through SMS databases. However, you can add extra assessment items. So if you really want, kind of the idea here is if you've got quizzes, labs, assignments, and exam, that's your 4 things. So you can put them in. But of course, everyone has lab 1, lab 2, lab 3, lab 4, In theory, you can also put them in. I'll have to ask. I'm going to a training session sometime, so I'll ask. I'm pretty sure you can add extra assessment items. They can be uploaded, and because Jeff knows about SMS, he's going to make sure we can upload stuff from SMS into Astra. So you can keep all the detailed information, like all of the individual lab marks, individual quiz marks and so on in SMS and upload them automatically to, what's that say, 10 o'clock. Oh, good. And you can upload Excel spreadsheets if you insist on maintaining stuff there. You can also have derived marks, same similar kind of deal to what you got in SMS. The final mark is computed by adding up these things and working out a harmonic mean or whatever. Although the university is not keen on anything apart from a straight sum of the assessment items. But I think Jeff is sneakily putting stuff in so that we can add more complex calculations.
So by the age means we have to use that at some point, right?
Yeah.
So scaling up is going to get harder and harder.
Not really. Well, see, the trick is you can do all of that dirty stuff in SMS and then upload it to Astra.
One update at the end of the semester.
Huh?
One update at the end of the semester.
Yeah, sure. And the audit trail's nice. SMS does have an audit trail. WebCMS doesn't yet. Give for submitting assignments, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. Anyway, there's the doco. WebCMS 3. Let's see, one thing that tricks people is putting things in the menu, putting new stuff in the menu. If it's a brand new heading and it's not not a child of an existing heading in the menu, then you need to create it as a resource and then link it to the menu, and they're two separate steps. When you create the resource, it exists in the system, but it's effectively invisible until you attach it to the menu. Okay? So come and see me if you're not sure how to do that. The way WebCMS handles forums, down the bottom of every page, unless you decide that you don't want it, and there are some pages where you probably don't want it, there's a discussion. There's also a way of accessing those discussions through the forums link. So that was a wonderful idea copied from Open Learning, which I'm kind of regretting a bit. But students have trouble finding it. In theory, it should be good because, they go to the assignment 2 page and all of the questions and answers are down the bottom of that page. But sometimes they post on other pages. There is a search functionality, point the students at that, works quite well. If you're using WebCMS and using SMS, you need to have a cron job that will sync stuff between WebCMS and SMS. There's probably some doco about that. If there's not, I'll write some and point you at it. And student enrolments get automatically added, as do timetabling stuff. At the moment, it's doing some things a bit crappy with timetabling. It's doubling up, adding shoots. I'll have to fix that. And don't run out right now and create WebCMS with weekly headings, because for some reason I only did weeks 1 to 9 rather than weeks 1 to 10. You can easily add week 10 yourself, but in any case.
So if you copy last year's, we're going to get 13 or 12.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, you will. Well, it's easy enough to delete 11, 12, 13. Yeah, true. And that's all I have to say. What else do you want to know?
Following the previous thing, what's the earliest part of the semester we can have something that's worth marks?
You're supposed to have something, you're supposed to provide feedback, whatever that means, by census date, so students can decide to drop the course. If they figure, oh no, I didn't get very good marks for that thing, I'm going to fail.
And that's like 4 weeks
That,
or something.
yeah, something like that.
7 days
Which is
March,
further into,
17th of March.
is it? Oh, okay. So that's week 4 then, end of week 4. Students can drop out at any time. They can even drop out after week 11 if they decide they don't want to take the exam.
I just seem to remember something in the dark and distant past when you weren't supposed to have anything due before week 3.
No, no. That must be the dark and distant past. the dogma for the last 10 years has been give them some feedback in the first 4 weeks before census so they can decide whether they want to keep going. Is that a question, Fetty, or are you just stretching?
Just when you're adding tutors and you can't find them on the CAD, you just let you know.
Yeah, if you know their ZID, you can just put them in the selections file anyway.
When you do the search, you can put the Z.
If you're doing a search in the allocations, you're not going to find them. That was your question. Oh, in WebCMS. Yeah. They need to log. So people become WebCMS users simply by logging in with their ZID, ZPass. That makes an entry for them. Once they've done that, then you can add them as tutors. And unfortunately, it's too difficult to set up. This person is taking this tute and putting it into the UNSW systems. So you'll have to associate tutors to classes manually, which is a pain if you've got 40 tutes. Do you have tutes, Alex? Maybe. What else? So while student enrolments are automatically updated, one thing that we don't do, if a student doesn't show up as being enrolled in the course one day, we don't delete them from their enrolment in the course. We simply make them unofficial. That means they still kind of hang around in a few places. If you really want to get rid of them, you make them an ex-student, which you can do by editing their entry in the course users page. And then that they don't show up in roles and things like that. What else? Well, I didn't use up my time. Oh. Nothing, big chance.
What are we teaching?
Huh?
What are we teaching?
What do you mean, what are we teaching? You're teaching Comp 4061? No. 4601. You should all know what you're teaching. Go and check the teaching allocations if you don't know. God damn, it's getting a bit late if you're going to go and check now.
In terms of like the point about the that exercise that you went through in terms of planning your lectures, labs, and tutorials for the going from 13 weeks to 10 weeks, somebody made the comment, whenever we did that was aspirational. In terms of sparring, I've got 2 colleagues here with me today, Benedict and Danny. So I'm actually moving to the Faculty of Science from the 15th of December. Danny and Benedict can help you with your aspirational goals for the pedagogy for the 3+ schedule, so it's something to keep in mind.
Let me see if I can. Here's a page that you probably should bookmark. Because it has some useful stuff, including access to that teaching allocation things. That actually says allocation, so I'm not sure which file that's referencing. Let me see. Alright, let's go and have a look. And it's password protected. If you can remember your password.
No pressure.
Yeah, no. Alright. No. Saving my password on your machine. And if you don't know what this DPST thing is, UNSW has, in its wisdom to get more and more students, decided to run a diploma taught not by us but by UNSW Global, where students come and do the first year of engineering degrees and then join us in their second year. And in their first year, they get nicely handheld, so by the time they get here, they won't know how to act independently, I'm guessing. But we'll see. So the first, at least it's been taught, our part of the course is being taught by Angela, so it's going to be done reasonably well, and she's using all our material. So they do 1511, 1521 over there, and do maths and whatever other type, they probably do a version of Inch 1000 as well. So in any case, a whole bunch of them are going to roll up here next year, starting in second year. So why is that only showing that? I don't know. Because clearly Andrew hasn't updated things. If we look at the allocations for the summer courses, so eventually it's going to look more like this, all of the tutors for all of the courses. And if you look down the bottom here, these are the files that you eventually have to fill in so that people get paid. The whole process of paying casuals is extremely tedious as well, thanks to the UNSW systems, where it's multiple clicks to enter information about anyone. So the more we can set up front and sort of have an automatic, fortnightly pay according to a certain scheme, like something like this, weeks 1 to 8, except it'll be weeks 1 to 10, 1 hour tutorial, 2 hour demo, whatever, something like that. So if you do that for all of your tutors, I'm not sure how much of this is going to be automatically filled out. This one was probably done fairly manually by the look of it. But in any case, once that's set up, then that goes into the casual payment system and your tutors get paid. If you don't set that up, they're not going to get paid, which doesn't seem to worry some of them. They just wait till the end of the semester and then come along and say, I haven't been paid. And we have to pay them everything. So the Teach Admin page contains a bunch of useful stuff, including UNSW. This could be where that leads. Course offerings, when student know, course prereqs. No. Actually, that's probably out of date. I'll add a link here because all of those forms that you filled out, the course readiness forms, live somewhere under here as well. But I can't find them just at the moment. Education Committee teaching allocation. Yeah, that's the one we looked at, where all these selections get displayed.
Should you put the link to the what we just talked about before?
The what?
The application sort of.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah.
Given it's in the
Yep.
hierarchy in that account.
Yep. Can do. So that's it. Oh,
Sorry, that just occurred to me, but Good Friday, Easter Monday.
yeah, that's an absolute pain in the arse. I think we should just ignore public holidays from now on, especially religious ones. Just can.
I know there's a mechanism for the lectures to be rescheduled.
Yeah, that's week.
But what about the tutorials? But they can be rescheduled too.
Yeah. Everything gets dumped in the first 2 days of week 11. And it's if you go looking at the timetable stuff online, it's there, and the way they present it is really confusing. because you'll have, it looks like you've got 3 lectures. It's actually 1 lecture for weeks 1 to 9, or 2 lectures. No, 2 yet. So lecture from weeks 1 to 9 that happens to be on a Monday, so it's going to get clogged by Easter Monday, and they'll have a separate thing that says week 11 at a different time, probably, as well.
What's even worse is going through figuring out clash approvals
Yeah.
and subjects that actually don't clash.
Yeah.
Are the
So
timetables for T2 and T3 there as well?
They're not, because they haven't done the timetabling. We haven't even done the term planning for T3, so Lauren will eventually ask you, how do you want to run your course? And you can all put in, I don't want to teach on Friday afternoon, etc., which timetabling will ignore. Term 2, they're timetabling at the moment. So if you notice, are you going to find, oh no, you're doing your stuff. I can't remember the URL. Can anyone remember it off the top of their head? Those timetable pages are? It's NSS something. Class util. Oh, yeah, true. I'll just try. Maybe this isn't going to work, and if it doesn't, then I won't bother. No. Oh, class utilization. What that'll do. There you go. This page here. All right. So if you go and look at computer science, here we are. So if you look at term 1, you see these annoying things that tell you this. That doesn't. Oh yeah, it does have a clash. So you can see there's 2 Tuesday lectures. One of them is weeks 1 to 10. The other one is week 11. And this is a replacement for this one, which happens to fall on Thursday, which is Anzac Day. And you can see that only runs from weeks 1 to 9. So reading this stuff is slightly... Oh, what a nice ringtone. In theory, they're meant to have... Yeah, you can see down here they fixed the tute labs. So you can see there's 2 tute labs, but one is week 1 to 9, the other one is scheduled for week 11. So.
That's T1, so T2.
Yeah, T2. The reason... it does. Actually, the other thing I was going to point out, and it'll be more obvious in term 2, is that enrolment now happens in 2 stages. So you register your interest in a course, and that ends up here. And then when the timetable is eventually released, you enroll in classes. Okay, so
what's the CRS stand for?
Yeah, registered interest in this course.
Oh.
And there are basically, forget about the 241, doesn't mean that much, but 6 people who registered their interest in October still haven't enrolled in classes for that course. So maybe they're not going to take it, but you've kind of got to assume that maybe they will. If we go and have a look at term 2, you will see that there is only course registered interest. So you can get an idea of how many people are interested in the course. So you can see 1511 is full. 1521, wow, is full. 800 people. Who's taking that course? Not me, I can tell you. And so on and so on. So these are just people who put their name down in October.
So what's the schedule for
The timetable being released should be... That's a good question, actually. I vaguely remember somewhere they were talking about in the last 4 weeks of term, they'll release the timetable for the next semester, so then you can enrol in classes. Maybe. They might put the class times up earlier, so that we can look at them, but then and maybe not open them to enrolment. I'm not sure. But they're in the process of doing term 2 timetabling, and we haven't even put in requests for term 3 timetable. And if you look at term 3, you'll see the same thing. So you can get an idea how many people might be interested in your course. Just to annoy you, Mike. Oh no, you're actually in term 2, aren't you? Let's go down
See, I'm
here.
just looking at it.
And this system's slightly annoying too, that if you've got mixed undergrad and postgrad, they get shown separately here. So you have to add them together to get the total, which in your case is 599. Lucky. You might be pleased that first, the new undergraduate intake, there seems to have been a slight reduction from last year. Of course, that may be a trend where enrolments do that again. They'll all be looking for a job after 5 years. Postgrad is really hard to tell because they all roll up in week of week 1 and then decide to enrol in their courses. So, don't know what's going to happen. But in theory, we made a lot more offers to postgrad coursework students than we did in previous years. So if they all turn up and they all take their offers, then 9021 is going to have more than 1,000 people. Right.
Awesome.
Stop making
Thank you.
people.
Well, it's a good segue into the workshop component that I'm going to talk to you about, because it's about bots in part, and in terms of large class courses with like 1,000 students, I want to talk to you about how bots are a potential way of managing those large numbers. So just to make that connection. Okay, so design, size. Okay. Good. No, there is morning tea if you want to go and grab it there. That's a great suggestion. Thank you.